Hey guys, Mubarak here of Invest HQ. Really excited today to talk about the infamous Ripple cryptocurrency. All right, it's been all the rave at the end of 2017 and 2018 with some crazy high jumps. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the technical analysis of Ripple, how to look at it, what it does, and why it's so popular. All right, again, not a financial advisor, but I've done a lot of research on different cryptocurrencies, and I want to show you guys how I apply my methods of analysis to it. That way, when you hear of a cryptocurrency, I want to show you how within 5, 10, 15 minutes, you can come up with your own conclusion on whether it's something that you want to keep an eye on, whether it's real, whether you feel like it's something you can invest in and make a quick flip, or whether it's a long-term hold. All right, so I'm really excited to go into it. Let's get started. So as you can see, Ripple is already in the top 5 cryptocurrencies. All right, so obviously that means the attention of the world is on it, and the volume is quite high, right? Not as high as Bitcoin or Ethereum, but anything that generally tends to have higher than about 100,000 in volume trade, or even honestly, anything more than about 50 million is something that I feel safe about, right? Those are the ones that are the fast movers. If you're doing a quick trade, that's the kind of sweet spot you want to look at, about $50 million for volume trading. What that ensures is that you'll be able to get in and out of your trades quickly. Okay, so if you were to put it in order, you would know that you would be pretty confident that it'll be fulfilled as long as it's near the normal market price. What happens is if the volume is too low, then say you want to sell your position, you might not be able to get it fulfilled. And that's the biggest problem with pre-market hours, after market. And I'm talking about the stock market. The good thing about cryptocurrencies is that the market is 24/7. So you'll always be able to invest. So Ripple, very good volume, have good confidence in it. Now the first thing I like to do is always take a look at the charts and try to understand where the price currently stands, okay? So if we go into the chart, let's zoom in a little closer, we can see some massive changes in the currency price, right? It's in the last 3 months, it was hovering anywhere from around 22 cents, 25 cents, and at some points it's gone up all the way up to $3.72, right? So that's an insane percentage gain. And it's almost like it's gone up about 15 times, 1,500%, 1,500%. So that's some pretty insane volatility. But now what you can see is that in the last month or so, it's starting to level off. It's a bit more understandable. You can see a pretty nice little hard break at about 0.59, 0.6. That's a good level of support. And it looks like it's topping off about $1.20. Doesn't seem to be able to get past that. And especially the last 7 days or so, still a decent range, a recent spread to make some money, between 86 cents and 96 cents, about a 10-cent spread. The reason I bring light to that is because if you're trading with $1,000 or $5,000, and you can make some 5 or 10 cents a share or 10 cents a coin pretty much for Ripple, then it's still, a reasonable bet. But I'm going to go further into the technical analysis, but really I want to talk to you guys about what Ripple even is so you guys understand why it became so popular in the first place. So we're on the home page now. Ripple, right? The coin name for it is XRP. So if you see that, that's Ripple. It's the same thing. This is the logo, pretty recognizable. So it's the only enterprise solution for global payments. Now, when you're researching any type of currency, I always recommend checking out the videos, watching the things. I'm not going to do it now, but it's still a good practice. Okay? So let's see. What you can hopefully do is very quickly you can always be confident about the companies that are able to explain in normal vocabulary what exactly it is that they do. So we can see that, okay, essentially Ripple is talking about how to connect banks and, more importantly, solving the problem of multinational and cross-border transactions, right? If you've ever traveled overseas, I'm sure you have issues with taking money out, transferring money. And so XRP's basic principle is that they want to make sure that they have a proper solution in place, and they want to give banks the ability to allow people to transfer their money in real time, right? Transferring money should be as easy as sending an email or downloading something. But in today's world, it's quite difficult, right? You have to wire your money, which you might have a $50 or $150 charge or more, right? You have to worry about you have to stay in the barriers of multiple limitations of your bank. And even if you have a bank overseas, you'll still get charged with transactions fees, with ATM fees, with international fees. Credit cards are slowly getting better in terms of how they're helping you, but it's still an issue. So that is what Ripple is focusing on. Now, what they've been very successful with is building a proper, real foundation and selling their software, right? So Ripple is basically, they're selling a software solution. You can see here. They're selling, payment processing systems, liquidity systems, and payment systems, right? Process payments, source liquidity, and send payments. So these are the solutions that they're selling to banks and businesses, and they've gotten some real heavy players on their roster. You got Royal Bank of Canada, American Express, UBS, right? CIBC, a lot of big, very popular, very strong banks. So that always helps. Now, to be honest, me personally, I'm always very skeptical about what the news is, and until the other bank or the other person confirms that a transaction or a contract or an agreement has been made, I don't let that affect my investing decisions, because it's tough. I mean, I come from the penny stock market background. I've been very successful in that market, and that is all full of hype and scheme and kind of manipulation of the market in terms of news and people writing fake press releases. So always be very skeptical, right? I'm not talking about always don't be like a bear, don't be negative in terms of what can happen with the potential price of a cryptocurrency or stock or anytime you invest. But it's still, just make sure that you do your due diligence, okay? So this is the actual cryptocurrency, XRP, the digital asset for payments. So the good thing is that the company Ripple is an actual functioning business, and then they've utilized XRP, which is their cryptocurrency, to be able to, like it says here, offer banks and payment providers a reliable on-demand option to source liquidity for cross-border payments. All right, so that is pretty awesome, because right here, this is the right page you need to be on, XRP. They tell you how fast the payment settled, 4 seconds, all right? That's incredible, considering that, yes, exactly. If you were to send money through your bank, and I'm sure, I don't know if any of you guys have ever tried to do it, it would take 3 to 5 days, right? Like, I was watching an interview with the CEO of Ripple, and he brought up a good concept where today's world, money, when you send it across overseas, when you send it somewhere, it takes so long that it's actually faster for you to get on a plane and bring the money yourself to a location. And that's a ridiculous concept. It's 2018, we're able to send emails and texts in the blink of a second. Like, we should be able to send money and digital assets in the same way. So that's what I really like about XRP. Personally, I'm not heavily invested in it. And again, no investment advice, just education. But, I was fortunate enough to get in at a very low price. I was in Ripple back in the fall time of 2017. So I got in, at a nice price when it was around 25 cents, sold some at the high, but it's very difficult sometimes to time the right, time to invest and buy in. Obviously looking back, you always wish that you got in here, or if you're lucky enough here. And that just requires making sure you're knowledgeable. I mean, we talk a lot about it at investhq.org on how to make sure you can get in at the right time. But it's really important to be able to kind of understand what you're looking at, right? And so just, again, a quick overview. This is the price chart of Ripple, okay? And this is coinmarketcap.com, great website to check out to be able to have your to be able to know exactly what coins are doing what. And we're going to have this set up on investhq.org too, so you'll soon see that soon. And down here, you see the amount of volume traded. So again, you can see when it got high, there was a lot of volume being traded. There was $10 billion being traded in a day on average, Now the volume has kind of flittered away down to the 100 millions and even less, or 300 million. So that's pretty good. But there was a time where it was in the billions range, and that was when it was really peaking. But going back to it, what I like to always do, when I'm looking into a cryptocurrency, is make sure that you understand not only things like the price. You need to know how many are in the market too. So how many units have been created? It just gets you an understanding, right? You don't need to get very complicated with it, but it's very useful to be able to understand more about the currency. And the website is actually a great place to start, right? And then they have resources, collateral. Definitely, if you want to know more about this before you invest, I would recommend going through their website and seeing what they have. I mean, this is obviously biased on their behalf, but it's still useful. It's still useful to get a grasp of the concept. And fortunately, they've done a good job of really breaking out what Ripple does and why it can be used. I always start off with something like this, like the one pagers or the two pages in this case, but that really helps you get kind of started and move on to get a fundamental understanding of how the currency is working. So again, to go over it in kind of a very high level, Ripple is a cryptocurrency that's pretty much competing with Bitcoin to be a top provider. You know, there's very technical differences having to do with how they're tackling the problem of double spend, how they're able to work with faster transaction times. You know, Ripple doesn't have miners. So there's some very important aspects of Ripple that make it very different from your typical cryptocurrency. And I go over that more in InvestHQ, but I just wanted to give you a high-level overview of what Ripple is. I know you've heard a lot about it. So if you want to learn more, definitely check out investhq.org. We're going to go into detail about cryptocurrencies, and we teach you guys how to start investing. So if that sounds exciting to you, then I'll see you guys there. But hope you guys enjoyed the video.